فما فيش يكون horrible white weapon, the truck built up speed, collecting its first victims, then bulldozed into the packed crowd, leaving a trail of dead and injured.
Terror attack! There's a terror attack! Down! Down!
Really?
Down!
Yeah. One, two, three.
You have this tremendous land to use for feeding people as opposed to resource wars that can then just deploy these populations because really refugees are, there's a major money machine around refugees. I think it's just across the board we have to recognize that we need to keep stable countries and have nation building programs that can ultimately keep the states from collapsing into situations like Somalia, like Syria, like Libya, and so many others.
Well, I mean, you mentioned the countries that are collapsing. It's interesting. The study found that 3 countries actually produce half of the world's refugees.
I doubt that'd be surprising with those 3 countries.
Well, yeah, and those are Syria's producing about 4.9 million. Afghanistan is at 2.7 million, and Somalia at 1.1. I mean, Syria, Afghanistan. You can put that onus right on us with Afghanistan because we've been there now for a long time.
We're not doing anything to save the situation, not really doing anything to save people. Because everybody is a combatant and everybody, that's, when you have that narrative, you put that rhetoric on top of it, no one's ever going to think the innocence. They're never going to think innocence. You don't think about it and go,
I'm going to close my borders. Saying that you're Turkey has hosted the now largest number of refugees worldwide, over 700. And you look at these countries, and they don't exactly jump out to you as countries with the bestest infrastructure to handle this order of human rights to begin with. But here they are saying, well, they're here, we have to do something with them. And whereas us and all these more, when we say first world countries, us, swimming in well, whereas us to say, let's lend a helping hand. No, what we're talking about is let's close borders, close ranks, and push these people aside, who are definitely victims of a lot of our foreign policy. What are you going to say about that?
a carcinogen is a substance capable of causing cancer in living tissue. Pretty simple, right? Scientists have identified about 1,400 such substances. Some are man-made, others are naturally occurring. And cancer is caused by abnormal cell growth, which threatens the healthy functioning of other tissues. So the answer seems simple. Avoid cancer by avoiding carcinogens. But if you live in the United States, it might be more difficult than you thought to avoid cancer-inducing agents. A new study just released by the Environmental Working Group, or EWG, reveals that up to 420 chemicals have been found in samples of human hair, blood, urine, and other tissue samples. This, according to over 1,000 biomonitoring studies. Some of the highest occurring were substances like asbestos, benzene, arsenic, formaldehyde, and even alcohol we consume in our beer, liquor, and wine. And the substances listed surround us in our everyday lives, from pesticides on our food to the gas we use for our cars, to solvents we use in cleaning products. So what do you do if you're a concerned citizen interested in staying healthy? Well, unfortunately, this study doesn't recommend much besides further biomonitoring studies on top of the 1,000 that was used to put the study together. It might be helpful, though, if Joe Biden's $1 billion initiative to end cancer started with getting carcinogens out of our daily lives.
That would be a good start. I feel just gross sitting here.
Well, this is
How much is in me right now? 420. Good Lord.
probably a lot. Yeah. Yeah, it's sort of insane because you look at the numbers that we're looking at, and I think all of us know people who never smoked or don't smoke, are pretty healthy, who never really didn't do any of these things, who are ending up with cancer, or families that don't Did we ever have a history of any kind of cancer suddenly getting them? It's environmental. We have to know that.
Right.
You can't have all these like numbers getting higher and higher, and that's what's sort of kind of insane. I mean, the good news about all of this is that earlier this month they made updates to what's known as the 1976 Toxic Substances Control Act, which I know is regulation, but they've made updates to it to try to get some of those things out of consumer products. And that went along with, as we talked about, Obama Biden's $1 billion initiative, which came about 2 days after I found out someone very close to me who'd never smoked and never, worked in factories who got cancer. So it's a little like,
let me ask you.
why weren't we doing this for years?
Let me ask you this, son. Why are we so cancerous in this society? I mean, why is it that like all these companies are you? Not that you might know, maybe you don't, but I mean, my goodness, why are we so toxic?
I remember when the reports came out years ago, probably 10 to 15 years ago now, about aspartame being carcinogenic, and yet it's still in Splenda and all of these ingredients, and I'm sure a lot of the fast food ingredients, not mainstream market ingredients, the high fructose corn syrup being potentially carcinogenic, but certainly affecting diabetes, increasing other illnesses. And yet here's corn syrup, because it's obviously corn is one of our major agricultural products in this country. So it's not to offend the farmers who are growing corn, and really it's mainly big agriculture at this point, and their produce. We're basically allowing high fructose corn syrup to be put into everything from children's cereals to most of the foods that we consume for market. So it's like it's an industry basically. It's an industry that is ultimately allowing for the toxicity and doesn't care about human health, because it's about profit, I believe, at the end of the day. So it's up to us as open-minded and conscious individuals to say, okay, we need to respond by having detoxification in our diet. We have to really have an orientation toward detoxing heavy metals and not just carcinogens, but just across the board. Too much sugar, too many pollutants that we're getting just from being here in this country. We need to have a detox program.
Almost definitely. I mean, you look at the problems themselves with the TSCA, or the Toxic Substance Control Act. The Environmental Working Group Senior Vice President for Government Chair Scott Faber said recently, the new bill will do nothing to require the FDA to review and regulate the chemicals routinely used in food and cosmetics. While pesticide residues on produce have been reviewed, thousands of other pesticides have escaped meaningful government oversight. The net result is that consumers will continue to be exposed to a witch's brew of unregulated chemicals. Wow!
I guess it wasn't that great of it. It wasn't that. It wasn't really enough.
We'll have weak legislation that can be that's hobbled by Congress with slow action. That's what you see over and over again. And at the end of the day, like Sean pointed out, money rules. The person who well seems to always put our healthiness and well-being in a back seat.
Right. Here's where I find, and it's the same thing I have with the defense industry. They don't really think about the long game on this. There isn't a whole lot of long thought to this. If the idea we'll make a little bit of money, but when you have a huge amount of the population getting cancer, you have medical expenses. People aren't going to be able to afford buying your soda and your everything else.
That's when the money-making cancer medical industry can step in, and we can get some more chemo and knock up the price tag down that way too. The sicker you are, the more money healthcare makes off you.
I mean, I will say this. It's, there was a time 20 years ago where if you found out somebody had cancer, it was a big deal. Like, it was like, oh God, we're so shocked. And now it's everyone you talk to is my mom, my this person, that. Look, we don't know the future of cancer. I hope Joe Biden has. I hope that money and what's going on, I hope that does push us toward an actual cure. The upside is, well, we do have more cancers. We do have much better treatment now, so it's not a death sentence the way it was a lot of times. So many, but we need to just put our heads together. Like I said, we've got technology to build bombs. We've got technology to do all these weird chemical weapons. Start putting that towards something. And Boeing and Raytheon would put a little bit of their resources towards something else.
Let's look like this.
Just say.
Medical marijuana does help with cancer. Joe Biden apparently is helping with cancer. So, ladies and gentlemen, our future is in the hands of marijuana and Joe Biden.
I feel good. I feel pretty good.
As we go to break, Hot Watchers, don't forget to let us know what you think of the topics we've covered on Facebook and Twitter. See our full selves at RT.com. We'll keep the behind-the-scenes thoughts covered. Download the app RT plugin, which is available on iTunes. Coming up, recent Libertarian candidate for President Kevin McCormick enters the Hawk's Nest to discuss all things libertarian. Now the 2016 presidential elections are shaking up. Now that Gary Johnson is once again in the race to the White House, stay tuned for Watching the Hawks.
Financial survival guide, liquid assets are those that you can convert into cash quite easily. But keep in mind, no assets are immune to inflation. You better watch Treasury for it.
The dust is settling, and it looks like the nominees to the highest office in the land are most likely going to be Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. But the establishment has seen signs that the American people are fed up. Donald Trump, while he does represent wealth and privilege, is far outside the list of acceptable candidates from the perspective of the Republican big bosses. Those bosses are still thinking up ways to rid themselves of Trump by the election and by the convention. And while Hillary is the presumed nominee for the Democrats and their establishment, Bernie Sanders and his movement have been hard on their heels, calling out the hypocrisy of much of the Democratic Party and its move towards the center and corporation-centric policies. But this isn't the whole story. We here on Watching the Hawks have highlighted the importance of third parties in America, going so far as to host a Libertarian and Green Party debate. Kevin McCormick was one of the participants in that debate, and while Gary Johnson was ultimately named candidate of choice for the Libertarians in Orlando late last month, Kevin McCormick is still keeping his nose to the grindstone to help the Libertarian Party push its platform forward. So what are Gary Johnson's chances for the presidency? Can his platform hold weight against the two-party juggernaut, and will he even be allowed to debate nationally with Clinton and Trump? To discuss this more, we're joined now from Phoenix by Kevin McCormick. Welcome, Kevin.
Thank you for being back.
It's always a pleasure having you back. So, we'll kick things off and start, since winning a nomination, Gary Johnson and his running mate, former governor of Massachusetts, Bill Weld, have been emphasizing the need to include their names and platforms in the national polls. A Fox News poll this month showed Gary Johnson at 12%. 15% is needed to appear on the nationally televised debates. I gotta ask you, Kevin, do you believe that Gary can reach that 15% mark? It's early. What is it going to take for him to get there? And are we going to see that?
I think Gary Johnson will achieve over 15% of the polls. The reality is most of the American public still don't even know who Gary Johnson is and what the Libertarian platform stands for. And as you mentioned, these polls are still, most of them aren't even including him in the polls still. And you'll see that most Americans are looking for an option outside of the established candidates.
And I got to ask you, what excuse do you think they'll give once Gary hits 15? And it's like we still don't know what excuse do you think they're going to give at that point?
It should be interesting to find out what excuses they come up with, or because they also don't tell you what polls they use to come to the 15% number. So, the illegal organization that colludes with Republicans and Democrats to pick who's in the debates could easily pick 5 polls that Gary Johnson's not even included in and say that those are the polls they use for the debate. So it'll be interesting to see how they choose to exclude the Libertarian Party this year.
They're so creative about it. Looking beyond that 15% needed to get into the debates, I wonder, can a Libertarian Party platform, how do you feel the Libertarian Party platform at least could?
Our platform is just too extreme for the United States to handle. Is it really possible to, as Gary Johnson proposes, end the farm subsidies, cut the national budget by 43%, and end with that? Are these things, are these pipe dreams, or are these attainable?
Some of those items, will probably not happen during this term, but it's just a crazy thought to think that now, in the political world we live in, that a party that wants to shrink the size of government, end domestic spying, and uphold the Bill of Rights is now an extreme party. I would think those are 4 issues that our established parties would be in favor of, but they're clearly not.
Do you think that the Libertarian Party, you talk about some of those things, obviously people are going to put their heels in the ground, especially the Dems and Republicans when it comes to some of those issues. The Republicans definitely with security issues, and the Dems with farm subsidies, things like that. Is the Libertarian Party prepared to compromise and bring about reducing the size of our government in a piecemeal fashion? Or is the goal just to like move forward and as strong and fast and hard as possible? Is compromise in that platform?
I think compromise is in that platform, and the reality is it took over 100 years for us to get to this extreme version of the government we have now. Not now, where they're invading our privacy and trying to limit our rights every day. And so, we can't get to the end game of a completely smaller government overnight. It's going to take years to unwind what the Republicans and Democrats have given us as this very dysfunctional government we have in place today. And there will be compromises along the way, but you need to know that libertarians are focused on the smaller government and upholding your personal rights, and that's areas where we won't compromise.
Where do you expect the biggest resistance to the libertarian ideals or libertarianism as becoming a solid major party? Do you think it's just going to be from the establishment, or do you think you'll see a lot of resistance from, say, the Green Party?
I think most of the resistance that we receive towards the Libertarian Party just comes from people not being aware of what the Libertarian Party is. We've had the established parties fighting against us for 40 years, preventing us from being on the ballots, giving people misinformation about the parties. I think the American public is tired of being lied to and misled every election cycle, and they're ready for another option. And the reality is the only party that stands by their principles and is for smaller government and your personal freedoms and protecting you as an individual is the Libertarian Party. And that resonates with the American public, and that's why the Democrats and Republicans do whatever they can to keep us out of the media and off the ballot.
It's interesting. And I think the main thing's kind of catching on. I mean, you see CNN suddenly want to do a libertarian town hall. I mean, I never would have thought I'd see that in my day, that CNN would do that. They got to follow in, RT's footsteps. A little shot at CNN. But, now, one thing that's interesting, though, is that, I want to know a little bit of how libertarian platforms address certain specific issues that Dems and Republicans are, endlessly in log jams over. Number one, gun control. In the wake of the attack in Orlando, I think, how would a libertarian platform address those issues? And what we hear on the news is like radical Islamic terrorism, as well as the issue of gun control. How does the Libertarian Party handle both those two things?
Well, the gun control issue is a classic example of how the Republicans and Democrats use any kind of tragedy in the United States to instill fear in the American public and make them believe that more government and fewer personal liberties for the individual is the way to go. The reality is all these shootings have one thing in common. They're gun-free zones. It doesn't matter what kind of weapon a person has. If you're in a crowd of people and you're the only person with a weapon, you are going to have the opportunity to kill a multiple number of people. People need to be prepared and ready, and there's nothing the government can do to prevent you from being killed by somebody with a knife, a sword, or a gun if no one else in that crowd is allowed to defend themselves.
Do you think there's a middle ground to that? Because I think a lot of people would say, obviously in Orlando, having a bunch of people armed in a bar with alcohol around, probably not the best idea. There was an armed guard there. Do you think this is an issue of just all of us being a little more aware of our surroundings? Like, is there a legislative solution to this? And honestly, what's the libertarian view? Is it absolutely Second Amendment, no take backs on that? Is regulation an issue? I mean, I just don't know where the legislation, how will we legislate that bad things happen? What's the
you can't legislate, unfortunately, you can't stop bad things from happening. And the reality is, in the United States, more people, based on the CDC's own numbers from 2013, die from falling down than do in shootings in the United States. It's just that the shootings, since they're mass and tragedies in the United States, receive more media attention. The libertarian stance is that we have the right to bear arms and we have the right to defend ourselves when attacked. You'll see now, even with the current bills that are being debated in Congress, that all of a sudden it was about guns, but now we even had Senator Joe Manchin come out and say that the problem in the United States is not the guns, it's the Fifth Amendment and due process. So now they want to take away from our rights of due process and violate our rights and make us then reapply and have our rights back. That should scare the American public, and it really shows the true colors of the Democrats and Republicans. They're not interested in controlling your gun rights, putting their two most disliked candidates possible up there and pandering to the right and left extremes. That this is the year for the Libertarian Party to shine, and for the American public to really find out about us. And it's going to be the year that I think we're going to be the best appearance ever in the elections, depending on how the electoral colleges turn out, it's still a possibility that the Libertarian Party could actually win the presidential nomination and really drive real change and the correct change in the United States.
It's going to be a fun year, man. Kevin McCormick, thank you so much for coming on again. Always a pleasure to have you. And now we give you all the 2016 presidential campaign trail news that the mainstream media needs 24 hours a day to tell you about in just 1 minute.
Here we go. The Trump camp is one little soldier short today as journalist, manhandler, and dilettante of delusion Corey Lewandowski was fired from the campaign. Why? Well, Trump spokesperson Hope Hicks didn't have a reason in the official announcement, and even Lewandowski didn't seem to have a clue why he was let go, which might give some insight into his departure. And while the Sanders campaign might have come short in its goal to put Bernie into the White House, they aren't giving up and running home, much as some sensitive souls would like them to. Reportedly, 6,700 Sanders supporters are interested in running for local and state offices. Look, if you can't find a candidate you want to vote for, be the candidate you want to vote for.
That is exactly right. And that is our show for you today. Remember, everyone in this world, we're not told we are loved enough, so I tell you all, I love you. I am Tyrell Ventura.
And I am Tabitha Wallace.
All right, everybody, keep on watching those Hawks and have a great night, all right?
Most people think to stand out in this business, you need to be the first one on top of the story, or the person with the loudest voice or the biggest ratings. In truth, to stand out in the news business, you just need to ask the right questions and demand the right answers.
The headlines from RT International. 13 children have drowned in northwest Russia after their boats capsized.
In Regiment, which was then stationed in Barbados. The band's early performances, much like now, were staged at Queen's Park, Bay Street Esplanade, Hastings Rocks, the Garrison, and at ceremonial occasions. Over the years, it is
These are called Annamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, and Anandamaya Kosha. Anna means the food that you're eating. What you call as your body is just the food that you're eating, isn't it? It's a heap of food. Small or big is your choice, but it's a heap of food, whichever way, isn't it? As there is a physical body which you gathered from outside, there is a mental body. When we say mind, it is not here or there. Every cell in the body has its own intelligence. Every cell in the body has its own memory, isn't it? So there is a body of mind. So this is known as the mental body or manomaya kosha. So that is hardware, this is software. This hardware and software cannot do much unless you plug it into quality power. So the third layer of the body is called pranamaya kosha or the energy body. These three are physical in nature. The next layer of the body is a transitory body, which is known as the vijnanamaya kosha. It is a transitory body. From physical to non-physical, it's transiting. It does not ascribe to any of the physical qualities, but at the same time it has not become completely non-physical either. The fifth one is called as Anandamaya kosha. In English language, it translates into as bliss body. Bliss body does not mean there is a bubble of bliss inside you. We are calling it bliss body because in our experience, whenever we touch it, we become blissful. So we are calling it bliss body. That's not its nature. That is what it causes for us. It is a non-physical dimension, which is the source of everything that is physical. If you align the physical body, the mental body and the energy body in proper alignment and balance, there will be no physical or psychological ailments within you. It is just a disaligned state which causes all kinds of problems. When body comes to a certain ease, there is no dis-ease. So if you align these things, only then you have a passage, you have a possibility of touching the Anandamaya kosha, where blissfulness becomes a natural process. It is not that you're blissful about something, you're just blissful because that is the nature of life. To create health for yourself, there are three fundamentals that you need to take care of: food, activity and rest. When it comes to food, one of the most important things that you must be conscious of is, on a certain day when you eat a certain type of food, whatever you eat, you must consciously notice how quickly does it digest and become a part of yourself. Any food that you eat, if it lasts over 3 hours, that means you've eaten bad food and that is something to be either avoided or reduced in quantity. If food moves out of your stomach bag within 3 hours, this means you're eating something that your system can handle efficiently. It may not be the best food, but your system is able to handle it. And between one meal and the next meal, if you create a clear gap of 5 to 6 hours, and in between if there is no other ingestion, there must be a minimum of 3 hours, and if there is a certain amount of physical activity, not necessarily very heavy or strenuous activity, just simple walking or maybe a dance or something like this, create something for yourself where about at least 20 to 30 minutes there is some physically, it's like accelerating towards death. Death is ultimate inertia, and if you go to bed with stomach full, one thing is it generates inertia, another damage means the stomach bag is full means it will create pressure on other organs in the abdomen region. This will also lead to various kinds of health issues. It's very important when you go to bed, again, food has moved out of the stomach bag. The bag is not heavy to put pressure on as you sleep in different postures. It should not be putting pressure on the rest of the organs. When it comes to activity, in this brief time, I don't want to give you an exercise regimen. The simple thing that we need to understand is our body is capable of bending forward, bending backward, and twisting sideways on either side. This much activity must happen, whatever we do, in whatever form. If you do classical Hatha Yoga, that is the best way to do it. Subjects in your life, you must somehow make sure every day you bend forward, backward, and twist both ways, and squat, so that stretching of the spinal column will happen. This much activity is a must issue as one ages. The volume of rest that an individual needs is determined by various factors. One important can see what type of foods cause maximum heaviness within you. What type of foods will leave you light and agile. If you make sure at least sleep is the only way to rest. No. As you sit and stand, you will either be restful or in a state of agitation or in a state of inertia. If you are in a lively state of restfulness, moment to moment in your life, the volume of sleep you actually require will come down. The lubricating fluids in your joints tend to settle down and are not in circulation. So when you wake up, body is demanding. You first lubricate your
Without the shedding of blood, there is no forgiveness. There is only retribution. Están muertos. No olviden la lucha, baby.
¡Pendejos! ¿Para qué les pagamos, hombre? Levántalo. ¿Estás bien? Pero usted está bien, ya sabes.
No worries, I'm telling you. Yeah.
The bail enforcement officers authorizing a bounty issue for you 36 You don't care who you are, what you do. There's no negotiations here, no deal, okay? So don't waste your breath asking me to let you go. It's not. You understand?
Hey, he's talking to me.
Here you go, boss. Thanks. It does you a bad,
Yeah, make sure.
Huh?
Don't want to hurt you. Just want to clean you up. Come on, son. Next 12 hours, we're going to be looking after you, keep you safe until you drop here from the States, okay?
Basically what he's saying is, what you with us, no fear about him. Real talk. Fucking badass.
You're okay. You understand what I just told you?
You?
What are you doing here?
She can visit her need anytime she wants. They go on so fast. And before you know it, they leave.
What are you doing here?
Hold on. I have them right here. There's that. It's Gustavo.
Give it to me. Talk.
Mayra. We lost her.
What happened?
I don't know, some pros could.
Where are you?
No, Americans. They were bounty hunters.
I just wanted her. She don't fuck up.
She's sick. Bring her back to me. Alive. Gustavo.
See you.
My men don't mess up twice.
Y ahora que llama. Hubo que conocemos. Esta puta no cruza la frontera.
Hey, you ever listen to Christian rock? It's good shit. Really.
Ronnie's also Casanova shit.
Whatever.
That's fucking beautiful, you know that?
Neither of you guys should be giving advice about fucking ladies.
How sweet, man.
Fuck you, too. You busted your balls.
Hey, you're not looking any better back there. When was the last time you had some food?
Hey, I said it was hungry like 75 fucking miles ago.
You just get 25 miles. Okay? Jesus.
Yeah. I can eat.
Yeah, sure. We have to eat, okay? We'll stop.
Real quick, like the next gas station or something. Come on, it's not a big deal.
See? When she says it, fucking pull right over.
Jesus, I feel like a fucking babysitter, okay? Okay, I'll treat you guys.
Yeah, fucking fine.
Well, maybe it's a cup.
You're not gonna ride it, really? I asked first.
What are you doing?
Ronnie. That's embarrassing, man. Hey. You're lucky to find you when you're dead. Those pieces of shit. They killed you. Definitely would have raped you. My names were compared to that. So, you're welcome.
You should take away his sister, okay?
The fuck is your deal? We saved your life back there.
It's okay.
Fucking breathe in this thing. Whatever. I'm done with you anyway.
You gonna check on her? She's alright, man.
Dude, this is a long fucking ride home.
Don't worry. Tough chicks dig me.
You just can't help yourself.
I'm not as suave as you, bro. I know it's my voice.
It's okay. She's getting worse, man. She's sick as hell. We gotta get her stay safe. Okay? Just pay for this and get out of here. Come on. Let me help.
Crenshaw.
I'm sure you're married.
Really?
Just fucking with you.
Everything's a joke to you.
And everything. What's wrong with you? It's something. That's you. Oh shit, different day.
You're such an asshole.
Promise, I'm not the one who's tripping.
Just
Get out. I need to see your face.
Definitely coming down on something. I'm not claiming it. Wade, we all appreciate what you do. Hey, right. Come on. Tough shit's big, man. Is it good? Yes, sir. Always done trying to protect you, babe.
So Ratty. Not this time.
Huh? Jesus, please stop being to my legs. Really? Halfway. Oh, yeah, I'm fucking look at this stupid guy. And you can match. Fucking. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, fucking annoying. That's the magic. I've got my snake here. See if you can let me hang it. Put this one is there. This one. This one. What am I doing? Beer barman, right? Really bad at it. Your fucking face. You know fucking time grown now. Oh, you know? Damn. You fucking realize? See how they getting cool fees or ass. Oh, go ahead and wipe them fucking.